I know some of you guys are thinking, what do you mean, Bolo? What do you mean it's not about talent? You have to be talented to be in music. And to some degree, yes, that is true. But I've seen a whole bunch of talented people that I've came across from recording and even producing for them. I've seen a whole bunch of people make some terrible moves. And in a lot of situations, those terrible moves is what ultimately stopped them from becoming big artists, big producers, big writers, big engineers. I've seen this. I've been doing this thing for 25 years now, and I've had my biggest success 14 years in. And on that night, in December 17th, 2014, changed my life. And the moves that I did before that set me up for that moment. The problem is there's a whole bunch of people that are seriously talented. Some people can sing, some people can rap, some people can make really dope beats and production. Some people know how to put together songs. Some people know how to write. Some people know how to engineer. Some people know how to mix. And I mean super talented. But they just cannot get out of their own way. And I'm here to tell you guys right now, some of y'all that are watching this right now are in your own way. I've had people that have walked through my studio. They have paid me for studio time. And after hearing them for studio time, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I got to work with you. You know, don't worry about the studio time. We need to get in and we need to work. Some way, shape, form, or fashion, we need to work. And then sometimes you would get people that seem like they want to work, seem like they want to do the right thing, and then they just veer off and do their own thing, and then they kind of blame everybody else for their misfortunes on why they didn't become this. It's kind of like the one football player who, you know, was really dope. Like he was a very dope athlete. He was a dope football player in high school, but he just couldn't get out of his own way to get to the next level. And then now all you hear is old high school stories of how good this person was in high school. Well, back in high school, I was the best football player. I was better than the guy that's in the NFL. Like you hear this stuff all the time. Even I do it. I talk about my high school days because I was actually pretty cool, but you know, it was some moves that I made that I got in my own way and I didn't make it. But I ended up making the music. But at some point, sometimes I was in my own way as well. And I see this over and over and over and over again, where you see so many people that have all the opportunity become huge. And whatever that they do, that squander it because they cannot get out of their own way. So old Bolo here is here to tell you what not to do in certain situations. First thing is, for a lot of you talented people out there who feel that somebody else should not have made it before you because you feel like you're better than them, number one, you need to listen. That's number one. You just need to listen. It does not mean that everybody you're listening to is right, but at least hear what they're saying and see the vision of what they're trying to do. Because everybody you listen to is not for your best interest. Some people that you listen to are going to be good people. And then there's a lot of people that you listen to that don't have a clue about what's going on. So when I say listen to dissect what people are telling you and what they are actually trying to do to further your career. Because I know people that will listen to certain people and they just, they'll listen to people that just spew out anything. And just because they may talk aggressive or they may dress a certain way or look the part, they're like, oh, that's the one. But then it might be somebody who may not be as assertive and they might not look the part, but they're saying a lot of good stuff that makes sense that gets overshadowed because they don't look the part. What I tell people is listen to people, but listen for stuff that makes sense, not for stuff that looks good. Everybody tries to package it. When people try to package things up so good and so fine and so dandy, that's a red flag. And that's a way to really mess up a lot of stuff. All right. Number 2, stop trying to convince people how good you are. Because it really doesn't matter, to be honest with you. Like there are some people right now who are up in people's face over and over again saying how good I am. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. And I understand it. There is some people that are really that good. But everybody can't be a Kanye. Well, old Kanye. Yeah, everybody can't be like how Kanye was, where he was just like, yo, I'm really that guy. And he was. It's very few like that who has that ultimate confidence, but really can back it up. Because a lot of times people who are very talented, they can back up their talent, but can they back up their business? Can they back up their work ethic? Can they back up everything that is needed to become a very successful person in the music game? So I understand you telling people how good you are and running up in people's faces and saying, I'm the best, you need to get with me, this, that, whatever. It does not matter. People don't want to deal with headaches. They want to deal with people that listen to what they're trying to do. All right, that's 2. Number 3, even though you're talented, I want y'all to listen to me. Even though you're talented, if somebody is spending money on you, listen to me. If somebody is spending money on you, you cannot really tell them what they should be doing, especially with their own money. There are some people right now that, oh my goodness, they're just super talented, but they might not have the funds to get them where they need to be. And they don't have a clear path on where they need to be. Then they may meet up with somebody who has the funds, who has the resources, who has had some success, and they're telling them, hey, this is the stuff that you're going to need to do to take your talent to the next level. And some people think just because that they're good at something, they think that their talent is automatically going to get them there, regardless if they listen to whoever is taking care of them financially and making the moves. That does not happen. I'm telling you, that's not going to happen. I've had people who I've literally have signed, tried to put money into them, and they would sit there and try to tell you what you're doing wrong. Even after I've had success on multiple occasions, and they would tell you what you're doing wrong and how you're not doing it the right way and this, that, whatever. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, I'm spending my money. So if I'm spending it, I'm going to spend it the way I want to spend it. If you don't like it, then you got to go. And a lot of people left. But then they would come back later on and be like, oh, Bolo, man, you were right, man. That stuff is crazy, man. We need to get back to it. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to deal with the headache. I don't want to deal with the headache. So unless you're going to put up the capital. You're going to get all the resources and everything for yourself. If somebody else is doing it, I'm sorry to tell you, regardless of how talented you are, you're going to have to listen to them. That it just is what it is. You see so many people get into these big record companies and sign these deals and stuff like that. And then when they get into the label and the label tells them, hold on, let us do what we do. And then the artist gets all mad. They want to call out the label and do this and do that. And then they mess up the rest of their career because now nobody else wants to mess with them. That's what can happen. It happens with producers. It happens with writers. It happens with a lot of other facets of this music game where people would do stuff like that. So even though you're talented, if you got to get financial backing from somebody, I'm sorry to tell you, you might get some input. Don't get me wrong. You might get some input, but you can't run the show like that. You're not going to run the show like that with a lot of people. You might find a few people that will let you do that, but most of the people, they're not going to let you do that. I'm sorry. Another thing that you should avoid if you are a talented person is thinking that just because you're talented is thinking that every door is going to open for you. It's not. Every door is not going to open for you because everybody has a certain level of where they perceive talent to be talent. You may be okay talent, but you might not be great talent. I hope y'all get what I'm saying. I didn't say talented, I'm just saying talent. You might be okay talent, but there's some people that are great talent. Okay? You're talented, but they're really talented. And there's levels to it. Don't get me wrong. There's some people that are really talented, but there's some people that are like really talented. So there's certain doors that you might not make it in. And just because you might not make it in those doors doesn't mean that somebody's hating on you or whatever. It's just that that is the perceived talent that they look at you as. Don't expect every single door to open because you know how to sing, because everybody might not want a singer. Some people might just want to have a rapper. You know, don't just have this perceived notion that everybody is just going to like you because you're good at something. Just because you're a good mixing engineer does not mean that every single person is going to sing you a song to mix. You're talented, but some people might like this other person who might be, on any given day could be better than you. So you never know what could happen. But what I will say is, even though every door may not open for you, the doors that do open for you, make sure that you come in there with the right attitude. Because a talented person with a horrible attitude is worse than somebody who is not talented that has a great attitude. That's why you see so many people out here that you be like, oh, I could have been better than them, like whatever. It's because they came with the right attitude. And when you come with the right attitude, things change. People look at you differently. They're like, oh yeah, such and such is cool. He's all right. Now, some people may try to play on that, which a lot of people will, but you still have to understand who's playing you and not. Some people can't just, they can't see the difference between that. But the smart ones can. That's why I was saying before, listen. You got to listen to what people are saying, so you can understand if somebody is playing you or if somebody is really trying to help you out. You got to listen. You got to. You got to have the right attitude with this thing. Because I'm telling you, I've seen it over and over and over again. You guys see it. You guys see what's going on right now. You guys see the type of artists that are making it right now, because a lot of them came with the right attitude. And if you come with the right attitude, a lot of times you will get a little bit further. If you're talented with the right attitude, oh my goodness, sky's the limit. But if you're talented and you have all these different demands and attitudes and this, that, whatever, man, give me this person right here. I know they're not the best singer. Let's go ahead and put a little auto-tune in here and try to make it sound the best we can. And, let's put them in some nice clothes and shoot a really good video. Let's shoot a really good video, and we can make this work. We just got to figure out how we're going to get them to sing live on stage. But we ain't got to worry about that, because there's a lot of people that can't sing live on stage. It's all good. I would rather work with that than to work with somebody who is super talented that has that terrible attitude. I can't do it. It's just not. It's not feasible. Cannot do it. But yeah, we have to understand that talent can only get you so far. That's it. But if you come the correct way, if you come right, things sometimes, I'm not going to say every time, things sometimes will work in your favor a little bit faster. Because every talented person is not going to make it. Sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. Sometimes it's just God's timing with this too. Sometimes, you might think like, oh man, I got the perfect song. I got everything going right. Everything is great. Why haven't I arrived yet for the masses to know who I am? Sometimes it's just God saying it's not your turn yet. Or it could just be luck where, you got everything right, but just, things didn't pan out. Like you just didn't get you didn't get where you was at. Like the luck ran out in a sense, whatever I'm trying to say. Like you just didn't get lucky. Some people really get lucky and find somebody who is cool with them and it works out. You might meet the perfect person for you that will take you in this music game, because, at the end of the day, you're going to have some help out here. Everybody needs help. Even the talented people need help. And sometimes you may luck up and find the right people, but then sometimes you won't luck up and find the right people. You'll just be kind of stuck where you're at. That's what I'm saying. Certain moves can really start like a butterfly effect in a sense. So you got to know, how to move in this situation, even when it seems like things are not right. You can't blame people for everything. But just know that if you have some type of a work ethic, some type of a good attitude, sometimes a little bit of luck, and sometimes just the luck of the draw from the man upstairs, sometimes you can get there. But just know that talent does not mean that you're going to make it. That's why I tell people all the time, love what you do. Love making music. Have love for making music first. Because if you don't love it and things don't go your way, you're just going to give up, and you might not even do music for real like that anymore, because you never really loved it. But if you love music and things don't go your way, you're still going to continue to make music and still be the talented person who you are. And people will notice it. People will notice it. And then one thing about people is they tell other people about this talented person who understands what's going on, that has a good personality, and they're willing to make certain moves and work the way that people would deem them to work to try to get them to that level. Word travels. I'm telling you guys right now, word travels. But if you come with all the bad stuff, that talent will be overshadowed by that. So just love music. Keep learning. Try to make the best plays as possible. Listen. Have the right attitude. And you never know. You might make it. And you might not. We'll see.